Previously on the Pastors Chronicles.
Back in 1998, March 21st, 1998, a man by the name of Stanley Myers was meeting with these guys to fund a project of his. He had created a water-powered engine. And he started creating this engine back in 1975, right around the time of the great gas crunch, the gas crisis. They even started building cars differently because of this gas crisis. Look at the Chevy Nova. Look at, say, a 72 Nova versus Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy was driving a Chevy Nova. Look at the difference in those two. So, and there are others, but during that gas crisis is when he started working on that engine.
If you remember the Buffalo shooting that just happened, make sure you watch until the end. It gets interesting. So if you didn't know, this guy here woke up and drove 200 miles to a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, shooting and killing 10 people and injuring 3 others. Now, among the people who were killed was a guy named Aaron Salters, and this is where things get a bit interesting. Now, what caught my attention about this is that Mr. Salters was just on the news about a month ago explaining an invention he made, which was an engine that runs completely off water, no fuel needed. A completely hydrogen fuel system. And we all know what happened to the last person who decided to come forth with an invention similar to this one.
Possible active shooter at the top.
Before Buffalo police rushed to Tops Friendly Market Saturday, there was Aaron Salter, the security guard, killed as he served and protected.
Aaron Salter, 55, retired Buffalo police officer. Loved electric cars.
He built a lab in his garage where he spent countless hours working to develop an engine that could run on water.
It's not really going for gas fuel?
No, there's no gas fuel. Well, I can't tell you how I use it. I do have a patent pending.
A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
Out of the water. So is it possible, because they're talking getting electric cars, everybody getting an electric car, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations across the U.S. Biden is perverted, our grandpa in chief telling us, why don't you just buy electric cars? But what would fly in the face of electricity? What do we all have access to? Because see, to get electricity, you got to have the charging stations. You got to put one in your house, a PG&E. That's what it is out here in California, Pacific Gas and Electric. I don't know what you guys got, East Coast or whatever, but out here it's PG&E. So you got to go through PG&E to get electricity, even if you have solar. Your meter is still running and it's still controlled by PG&E. If you have solar, PG&E still has to come out and approve it for you to use it. So you got to go through somebody. Well, we all got access to water. We all got a hose. We all live by a lake or an ocean or something, but we all have sinks and stuff and hoses in our front and backyard or whatever. So that we could supply ourselves. That would take them out of the picture. That would give us personal responsibility. We would be responsible for powering our own vehicles. No more gas stations, no more charging stations.
Welcome to Zero-Days Chronicle.
Before starting the video, make sure to smash that like button. Do it now, it only takes a second to do it. And hit the subscribe button and the bell to turn on notifications so you can be informed whenever I upload new chronicles. Also, visit my website, that is tpchronicles.com. There you can read articles and see videos that cannot be uploaded on YouTube. You don't want to miss those videos. The link is in the description box below. Also, join me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, TikTok, social platforms. If you are down with the campaign, type CN, which stands for Chronicle Nation, in the comment section. Upon that note, let's get into this next video, and it goes like this.
Logic from the left never ceases to amaze me. They say that an 18-year-old, their brain isn't developed enough to be able to, have a weapon, own a firearm. But a 5-year-old, yeah, completely old enough and mature enough to be able to choose their own gender.
Welcome to Zero-Day Chronicles. This is Chapter 1B. In this part of the Zero-Day Chronicles, we will touch on mind control and how these mass shootings are doing their job on the American people and in the world. We will touch on how the Drago or Dragon Brotherhood uses mass media to shape the world, brainwashing it and preparing the mind for the following fabricated events, which we see in their programming, which is called predictive programming. Now, I just want to give you a little insight on what Zero-Day movie is all about. And then I think maybe in chapter 2A, we're going to start off with what Zero-Day actually mean. And people, it's going to make sense as we build. All right. So Zero-Day, the actual movie, came out in 2003, as well as Elephant. Movie Elephant was also releasing around 2003. In Zero-Days, you had Andrew and Cal, a pair of military-loving misfits from a small town in America. They harbor a hatred of their high school so caustic that they devise a plan of attack called Zero-Day.
We are the army of two.
This is our high school located in our town. It is our worst enemy.
It is our nemesis. What's next? Okay.
There will be a series of missions followed by a final big-ass mission called Zero-Day. That's it.
Oh, we're done now, right?
Yeah.
God, I hate this school.
You hate it. These are the best years of your life, Andre.
As the days count down, they recorded their practices in video diaries.
All right, go.
Okay, some things then. We acted alone. We obtained the weapons alone. And nobody knew that we were going to do this. Our parents had nothing to do with this, and so everybody knows they didn't know anything about it.
I mean, when our parents find these tapes, I mean, what are they going to think? Oh my God, I was asleep upstairs while they were in the basement recording this. We could have known. We could have stopped them.
No.
That Mom, don't worry about that.
All right, so you found us and you think, Jesus, I'm sending them to counseling. We have to stop this. We'd go through counseling, we'd wait a period, and then...
We'd just come out and do it anyway.
Exactly. You could think that you've cured us, and we'll make you believe that, but you can't cure somebody who has nothing wrong with them. Don't feel guilty about this.
I mean, it's not your fault. We love you. I mean, we weren't morons like every other loser that's done this. I mean, we weren't a bunch of who were just starving for attention. We fooled everybody. I mean, even if we hadn't, could you blame them for not noticing? I mean, who wants to think that their son, their student, their classmate, their peer, their employee is going to do something like that? There are no reasons, and you're all going to look for them, but you're not going to find them. So you, that, the reasons. There are none.
This isn't...
Hoping to achieve fame after their demise. When 0 Day arrives, Andrew and Cal drive to the school with the trunk of munitions and aim. At this point, I want you to pay close attention to 841, or basically numbers. We may not touch on everything in this chronicle because of time's sake, but I want you to pay attention to the time or numbers because time is critical to the synagogues of Satan. They do things in numerology. Before we break down this time, 8:41 a.m., I want to play a small clip from one of my chronicle series called Sex Kittens, which is on my other page. The link will be in the description below. And it is about the song In My Feelings by Drake. And here you will learn how the occult uses numerology to decide who they will sacrifice for the greater good. Duality, the yin and the yang, a means to an end. So right now, let's go ahead and drop this video, In My Feelings by Drake, so you can learn what numerology means and how the occult, inspired by the devil to create events, rituals, sacrifices, times when they do these things, they actually believe that Lucifer speaks to them through numbers. And through these numbers, that's when something going to take place, whether it's war, pandemic, a shooting, whatever. These things take place by numerology. And some people be sacrificed for the greater good. So here is In My Feelings by Drake. And this is also chapter 2E. And the link will be in the description below. And so these numbers tell them what they should do. There's sacred things pertaining to these numbers. And so therefore, by these numbers, they determine what's going to take place. For example, 9/11, 9/11. According to Freemasons, the number 9 represents, just like the number 8, it represents pain or sadness. And so sometimes they put them together. When they put them together, it spells out a certain event. And we show this in, I want to say part 4 and part 3. Part 3, we showed Wanted, where Angelina Jolie played in a movie called Wanted. They manipulated him and put him on. If you look at the whole movie, he's been under like mind control. They control his mind. And also, the most important thing in this movie is the stitching of the fabric. In that fabric, there's numbers. That Morgan Freeman, he played actually the leader. And the secret society is what actually gives the hit. And so the handlers project the numbers, bring the numbers out, and they give it to the assassins. And these numbers verify what type of event or assassination would take place in the world. And so, what I'm going to show you in part 3 and part 4 of In My Feelings Chronicles is to understand the occult numerology. So, let's get on with part 3.
You see that one thread that missed the weave and lies on top of the others?
Like a mistake?
No, it's a code. If the vertical thread is on top, it's a 1. If it's below, it's a 0.
Binary code? What does it say?
It's a name. A target.
Where do the names come from?
Come out of a necessity, Wesley. Necessity to maintain balance in the world. They are orders that must be executed, entrusted to us so that we might forge stability out of chaos.
We will pick up the numerology and what 8:41 a.m. mean, and what does 8:41 a.m. have anything to do with the time when the gunmen opened fire in the elementary school down in Texas. It was recorded that the gunmen walked into the west side of the school at 11:40 a.m. What does 11:40 a.m. have anything to do with 8:41 a.m.? I want to play a clip before I end this part of the chronicle.
Essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people to buy into a solution before they see where it's ultimately going to go. Because you're talking about a transaction system that is no longer a currency, it's a control system. So it's like a credit at the company store. If every central bank comes out with a digital central bank currency, they have the ability to turn your money on and off. So if you don't behave,
Does cash still hold the same value?
Cash is still relevant, but cash is no longer king. Although people in this country and around the world do continue to use cash to purchase things every day, that is decreasing.
Electronic payments have cannibalized checks. Card payments have grown, but cash has remained king. 2/3 of transactions under $10 are done in cash.
Although data surrounding COVID's impact on cash has yet to be reported, the pandemic is expected to cause a drastic decline in cash usage due to the risk of contamination. The unprecedented surge in the demand for contactless payment has also shown outstanding performances from major companies offering cashless payment methods like Apple, Square, and PayPal.
You're seeing digital payments in this crisis move from being a nice-to-have capability to a must-have essential service.
Whether it is credit or debit or prepaid cards or peer-to-peer services like PayPal or Venmo or others, we're seeing a corresponding...